Okay, folks, out in my car, it's close to 7 p.m. I know the camera's kind of tilted. It's kind of propping up in my, the wheel of my car whenever I'm recording out here. Got as much light as I can, get on over here. But anyways, been meaning to make this video. I know a lot of folks are doing like New Year's resolutions videos. I'm like, okay, what are they planning to do for the year? Um, Generally speaking, though, I kind of like write down my goals. At least I've been doing it for the last year or so. Um, like, I don't know how often I like revise them per se, but like as I sort of start making progress, get loans paid off, um, get this new job, sign up for a class, take it, that sort of thing. I'll update it. So, I basically, I have this, notebook. It's my planner. And at the back, they have sort of a notes section. And essentially, I wrote down goals for like the end of this last year, beginning of this year, and then second half of this year. Um, but I'll be going over that, kind of get that out there. But first off, I know I don't have that many subscribers currently, but kind of following in the tradition of Fitzgerald Brown, I wanted to just say, anybody who's watching, consider checking out Taj Cooper's channel, showing him some support, and if you feel like it or feel up to it, subscribe, follow him, that sort of thing. So there's that out of the way. I did get my grade back for that class, so it's like, now I'm moving on to personal announcements. I got the grade back for my class. I got an A minus. I know it's not an A, but it's a sort of a big bit of progress for me. Highest grade I've gotten in a while, and it's sort of showing that I'm turning things around. And as such, because it's higher than that, it's like the B or higher was like getting a B was like the minimum benchmark, so to speak, and significantly above that. So I'm planning on taking more classes towards grad school in this list of transition courses. Whichever ones I can get into essentially, and then I'll sort of pick away or chip away at that list. I obviously planning on getting to the point where I can just go full time and just knock it all out. Get that master's degree. I'm currently close to paying off my next student loan, which is the first federal student loan. And again, I'm not expecting some major bailout. Would be nice, but those things tend to come at a cost, aka increased taxes, which then mean that you're not just paying for your own debt, you're also paying for the other student loans for the other people who may have made some bad decisions, I suppose, in terms of what they decided to study and, with the economic implication being that if you didn't get, the sort of qualifications in a economically profitable or, what do you call it? Economically profitable field, or like a field where, you can see there's job growth, hence you'd be able to get a decent paying job that would allow you to pay off the debt and then, get on with your life, that sort of deal. Basically, if there is some sort of bailout where they do decide to just cancel student loan debt, federal student loan debt, that's going to mean it's going to come from somewhere. This never really just goes into thin air. It's going to show up in your taxes or so. And I suppose it may seem in the short term to be, a small amount, but maybe for the individual it won't be as much. But anyways, I'm just not expecting any of that, so I'm just focusing on just paying it off. Finding the means, making that money, doing overtime, minimizing my costs, throwing as much cash as I can at the debt just to get rid of it. And, obviously as you go on doing this sort of stuff, you see your credit score improve, your financial situation stabilizes, that sort of deal, hopefully at least. But I'm hoping to have that paid off sometime this month, not as January, either mid-month or towards the end, hopefully to get it done before the the deadline, so to speak, for the end of forbearance, because then remaining federal loans will end up having interest back on them, and then they'll start requiring payments. So I want to get this one knocked out. My plans for the new year are pretty simple. First off, keep my job. That's basic, because everything that I'm working on right now, it's not going to really go anywhere. I mean, things will fall apart, and I don't want to think about what that would be like, but they're all based on me having a source of income, having this job, which is, in an industry relevant to my degree, pays a decent amount of money. As long as I can minimize my cost of living by just, spending on the bare minimum rent and food and fuel, keeping any miscellaneous expenses down, just throwing as much of my paycheck at this debt, I can make that progress, and I can see a light at the end of the tunnel. It's not my demise coming to meet me. It's future free of debt, where my entire paycheck will be mine, and then I can use that to actually build wealth, and heck, even just to take a vacation or something like that. Assuming that all this craziness goes away. So yeah, keep my job. That means keeping to that schedule, getting up on time, getting to work, being cognizant of what I'm doing, sharpening my skills, that sort of deal. And just basically, yeah, like I said, keeping my job, and beyond that, continue paying off my debts, and following this list of goals I've written down. I have like a list of financial goals, and there's like educational goals, workout, exercise routine sort of stuff. And essentially, financially speaking, I'm continuing with my pre-existing plan. Also, no credit card debt, period. I'm just keeping those things zeroed out, not touching them unless it's an emergency, and even then, like, I'm making sure I zero that amount right away. Because there's some things I might have to pay for that they only accept credit cards for, and you just gotta kind of deal with that. And next off, replenish my starter emergency fund, get that back to $1,000. And beyond that, I obviously taking these classes, chipping away at that, educationally speaking, and then teaching myself, continuing to teach myself how to program automated liquid handling robots. Eventually going to get my certification in those. Once I feel that I'm comfortable enough, I'm planning on emailing those folks at these different companies again and asking them, okay, like, how much experience do I need before I can take this certification course and that sort of thing, just so I can kind of gauge it, because I don't want to go and throw $2,500 at one of these and then not get the certification. That'd be a real big waste. Let me see. I've started jogging a bit, doing like a mile and a half, like every other day. I know there's this whole idea of like, okay, do it even if you don't feel like doing it, but then again, I also have other things I need to put my energy towards. So as long as I'm striking up some sort of balance and maintaining that, then I feel like I'm making some progress there. Trying to stick to my slow carb / keto diet. I want to shave off some pounds so I can get back into my BMI range. I'm really concerned about avoiding type 2 diabetes and other problems, high blood pressure, heart disease, etc., long term. And then back to my financial goals. By the end of this year, I want to have paid off, not only that first federal student loan, but this private student loan that my uncle signed on to. He really had my back on that, and I just want to take care of that. I don't want to ding his credit report and basically end up throwing him under the bus. That just would not be right. So once this federal student loan is paid off, it's just, okay, I'm going full force, with the gazelle-like intensity to get rid of that next student loan, which is this private student loan. After that, while I'm making the minimum payments on the remaining 2 student loan accounts, it's gazelle-like intensity to pay off my car loan, to get this car 100% paid off, such that assuming no major catastrophe happens, I get my money's worth out of this car, however many miles I can get out of it. By the time I get to that point, I'm hoping, okay, I'll have my finances straightened out completely, no debt, have money stashed away that I can buy my car with cash, next car with cash, that sort of deal. And if it's at all possible, and I'm saying this right now, but I have this written down here, to pay off the second to last of the student loans. by the end of the year, such that I only have one student loan left, and that'll be my entire debt load at that point. And I can probably get that paid off within probably the first half of the next year after this year. Be debt free, and then just start building up equity in some investments, learning how to do proper investments in things like index funds and ETFs and so on. Um, and then going from there into other passive income creation and so on, so that I can get to the point where if I choose to, I can walk away from the rat race, because I kind of see the world through that sort of perspective. I see all this rat race, and the only way to really have that kind of freedom is to be able to walk away from it all. If you don't really necessarily agree with the way things might be going in the world, whatever side you may be on, just having that ability to have this sort of freedom of I guess not having to worry about money, and you can focus your energy on other problems, and you don't have to sort of kowtow to whatever it is that you're in disagreement with. Not to be actively resistant, but sort of like, I can state my opinion, or I can disagree, or whatever, and it's not going to necessarily like be sort of an end to your existence, if you will. That's kind of waxing a bit philosophical, focusing on distinct practical things in reality as far as my day-to-day existence is concerned, and doing what's necessary, because there's no point in sort of putting up a fuss about little details here, there, and everywhere when you're like basically wasting energy. You're wasting energy on stuff that you don't have control over, and not using that energy towards the sorts of things you can actually have an effect on. Sort of you got to keep your eyes on the prize, and don't get distracted by a lot of the side stuff, which like I said, I want to have the freedom to not have to kowtow to X, Y, Z, but at the same time, I kind of don't care too much, as long as it just doesn't get in the way of me making my life better, I guess you could say. And so beyond that, that's essentially my video. Beyond that, just day-to-day life, staying on Nofap. It's day 76. I will mention before I close out this video. So technically speaking, 2 weeks from now will be 90 days. My Nofap goal for this year, I need to get past 9 months. Technically speaking, if you go back to 2017, 2018, I made it to 6.5 months of what I defined as hard mode, which is just like no porn, no fapping, no edging, no nothing, no real release. Not to the level like quote unquote, I guess monk mode, where you're just like literally like a monk and you don't think about sex at all. You squash any thought of that period. But got to 6.5 months of that. 8.5 months of what I call easy mode, which is where I would on occasion view pornography, but I would not fap, I would not edge, and I would try to like keep it down to like a week, 2 weeks, three weeks between each incident of that. So want to beat my PR. Past 6.5 months, so let's say 7 months hard mode, or 7 months hard mode would be beating that goal. No pun intended. 9 months would be beating the other goal, or crossing that sort of that threshold. And assuming I can get all that done, then it's sort of I want to go on from there to a year, and then year and a half, so on. But ultimately, I want to kind of just make it, it's part of my character, so to speak. And I think one other thing popped into my head right now that I wanted to mention was, as far as the effects of Nofap, it's kind of interesting, because when I get this far in, it's like I start having vivid dreams. They actually start like about the month mark, but then they kind of start picking up in frequency and depth. And these last ones, it's kind of been me dreaming about a lot of the sort of traumatic things I've gone through, and I guess letting out my emotions in my dreams, which I kind of wake up almost like feeling sad, feeling a bit depressive, but at the same time feeling a bit like, okay, a layer has been lifted up and tossed away and that sort of thing. And so, they kind of work through this. It's sort of like that sort of cleansing process or that purification or, that catharsis. Hence, the name of my channel, Ascesis Catharsis. It's kind of like I go through that specific kind of a catharsis where I'm sort of purging that a bit. Like I had this dream where I confronted a number of people, including the quote unquote, I called her the one-itis girl back in the day. It's kind of strange I can say back in the day now, but confronted her, confronted a bunch of other folks, and it wasn't just like her, it was like, this whole list of people, and it was expressing myself to them. Not necessarily cursing, but like maybe even in my dream I kind of got all like, I wouldn't say necessarily that I was crying per se, but it was like my emotions were coming out. And I was kind of like, "Oh, you did all this stuff to me. You did this. You did that. You list of things that you did. This is how I felt about this, and you're trying to gaslight me or whatever." And I confronted them about it, and I kind of got it out of my system, so to speak, within that dream. Which I don't know if that changed much in reality, but it definitely like it was sort of like something I've dealt with and I've been dealing with. I occasionally have these days where I'm sort of thinking about stuff and errant thought kind of crosses my head, and I reminded of that or those people, and I get angry or depressive or whatever, and it's sort of like, oh, all the things I could have, should have, would have said, but I was in this context, a situation where if I'd said anything or done anything, A, B, C, etc. would have happened to me. I could go down this list of like, okay, here are all the consequences. And so I decided not to do anything. I decided to kind of try to outmaneuver them, keep the eye on the prize, get to graduation, and just get out of that scenario, situation with my degree. And I was able to do that, but I've sort of like been dealing with the after effects, if you will, these last, well, it's been about 2 years, close to 2 years. I think it's like 6 more months, and it have been 2 years since I graduated from undergrad, and sort of like been working my way through that and moving further and further away from that group, that sort of network, that effect, those events, and anyways, I kind of feel like I'm getting to this point where I'm seeing like I'm seeing further healing, if you will, and that is what so much of Nofap is to me. It's a way to force certain things to happen. For a lot of us, we're fapping because we have trauma in our past that we're running away from. We're trying to hide from. We feel bad, so we do something else that makes us feel good, and it becomes this vicious cycle. For others of us, it's, I guess, and it might be something that's sort of uncomfortable, you don't want to really confront, but it's sort of like a sign of, if you want to get into intergender dynamics, or people talk about the red pill, men versus women, or not even versus women, but men and women, how they relate to each other. It's almost like if you were this super attractive guy, you wouldn't be fapping, that sort of deal. So it's like your fapping is sort of a symptom of your inability to get with a girl or to be attracted to her, and maybe that's not even 100% true, but or it's just maybe it's a sign that your life isn't well put together. Because I'm trying to remember the guy's name. I think it was Duncan Trussell. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he said that basically every time he was PMOing way too much, it was like something in his life was kind of out of whack, whether it was a relationship with a girl, or if it was like like things he was working on weren't going the way that he wanted them to go. His career wasn't flowering, or whatever it was, something was out of whack, and that's sort of the deal with it. I know I got into the intergender dynamics sort of thing, but whatever it is, you have a lot of guys in the NoFap who will be like, okay, NoFap community will be like, okay, we're gonna do this NoFap so we can become attractive to women, and it's like, I can see the point of it, but at the same time, I've gotten to a point in this whole process where I see it as it's something more than that. It's a tool. It's a tool to use. It's a means to an end. It's forced me to do a lot of self-analysis, a lot of work on myself, do something else with that energy, with that time, and really sort of dig into whatever I may have gone through, whatever trauma I may have gone through, aspects of myself that could definitely, need some improvement. And I think Ryan Stone kind of said it best that, success with women or having women in your life as a guy, um, it's sort of like it's a lagging indicator of success. Um, so it's kind of like, yeah, if you're fapping so dang much, and there's probably means that you don't have women in your life, assuming you're obviously heterosexual and therefore attracted to women, then it's sort of a lagging indicator of that. Okay, maybe everything is not, you know, 100% all put together, and you don't have all these things that you would possibly need to attract women. But it's sort of like, okay, if you're gonna go to NoFap, maybe you do start off with that whole sort of, I want that lagging indicator in my life, but as time goes on, it becomes far more about what's your mission in life. If your mission in life is not there, if you're not driven towards something, it's not going to matter whether or not girls like you or not, whether or not you have a girlfriend, whether or not you're getting after it, whether or not you're married, whether or not you have kids. You know, your mission isn't there, or you're failing at your mission. You don't have some sort of driving motivator, indicator, whatever, of of your direction, of something that you are doing to create value. Not just for yourself, but also for others. In a wider sense. But I think I probably rambled on long enough. Again, sum up my opinion on NoFab. It's a tool. It's a means to an end. Whatever is the big problem in your life as a guy that you're facing, it is possible that going on NoFap could help you figure that out, and then actually get that sort of thing done. Whether it's past trauma, whether it's your education, your career, whether it's girls, whether it's your physique, your health. Um, it's more of a means of like, okay, you create this sort of space in your life, in your time, where you're not obviously using that time to go look for pornography, fap, etc. Do that whole PMO cycle, and you have that time now, you have that energy now. Okay, go use it for something. Do your self-analysis, figure out what's the issue, and work on that. And then improve yourself thereby. And you know, you chase after that mission, you improve yourself, you get that success. You'll see indicators show up, and maybe those indicators for a lot of guys in their 20s, maybe even to their 30s, where I'm at, is okay, I got a girlfriend. Maybe. For others, it may be their money, might be their education, might be just be their physical health. Like, okay, I don't feel sick all the time. I'm not overweight. I'm, whatever the case may be. Um, but yeah, that's me for now. Um, and yeah, that's that. So, got my mask here. I'm gonna stop recording, take this home, upload it, and then I'll probably might go for a run. We'll see. But yeah, I'll see you folks around. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support, the subscriptions, the likes, the support, the comment, all that comments, all that sort of stuff. So see you folks around, and bye bye.